Hi, everyone, and welcome back to TLC Next Updates. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a huge thumbs up. You won't regret today's in-depth look at the newest behind-the-scenes scoop from Sister Wives. Recently, Sister Wives One-on-One. Tell-all host Suki Krishnan appeared on The Sarah Show and shared some mouth-dropping facts about the Brown family. From her rapport with the cast members to Cody Brown's tenuous relationships with his children, Suki let nothing slip. And what she shared about group interviews could completely alter the way you perceive the entire family equation. In the old days of the show, the Browns would sit down en masse for group tell-all sit-down interviews. Cody nostalgically recalled those days as he prepared to head to Sedona with Robyn for his solo segment. As he explained it, during those times, the family stood by each other. They weren't perfect, but they stood together. Today, rather than expressing support, the tell-alls have become a platform for veiled blame and revealed tensions. Robyn herself confessed she feared the interview process so much, she'd rather get a root canal than go through it. That's how far things have deteriorated. When Suki guested on her podcast, someone asked her why group interviews are no longer done by the Browns. Her response was telling. The family just doesn't mesh anymore, and subjecting them to each other would only serve to create more tension. She did admit that she did bring up the possibility with Cody, Robyn, Janelle, and Meri, but that they all wished to speak one-on-one. Christine, however, could possibly be the sole individual actually prepared for a sit-down in a group, as she has long since moved on from Cody. Suki further added that Season 19's tell-all will forcefully illustrate why the family has come to this breaking point. Cody has also come under criticism for his strained relationships with his older children, particularly in the wake of Garrison's death. Many have accused him of becoming aloof, but Suki shared that Cody is indeed attempting to rebuild the bonds. She added he's working on seeing his sons as grown men and his daughters as independent women. Some of his children have closed doors on him, while others are still willing to reconnect. As part 3 of the tell-all series, the drama only gets more intense. Cody shared how offended he's been by the accusations that he's been playing favorites with Robyn. Host Suki Krishnan even called him out for sidestepping responsibility. Rather than taking responsibility for what he's done, Cody evaded and made a mean remark about Janelle. In a new promo that TLC just released, Cody astonishingly told us that money and sex are now on the table, and then complained that Janelle had too much power over her own money. It was a below-the-belt shot that left fans stunned and widened the rift further. Janelle wasn't quiet. In the interview, she complained about both Robyn and Cody. Although as tensions continue to mount in the Brown family, more is being revealed about the emotional burden of their fraying bonds, particularly as it relates to Coyote Pass. In a recent preview, Cody Brown admitted that he never actually shared the specifics of the property with Janelle. Why? Because, according to him, quite simply, he doesn't trust her with it. This admission shocked many, particularly given Janelle's long-time investment, financial and emotional, into the land on which they used to dream up building their future. In that same preview, Janelle wasn't shy. She cited how Cody appears to lash out against every wife who has the guts to leave what's causing them the most pain. Her assessment stings, revealing a profound pattern of blaming emotionally. Christine also made her own contribution, stating that she never suggests that anything about sex was ever a problem in their marriage, something that makes it all the more puzzling to her that Cody is now making it a public issue. She even rolled her eyes, obviously perplexed at the extent to which things have gotten out of hand. Christine's husband, David Woolley, had something to say too. Serene and supportive, he noted that he can provide Christine with what she's always wanted, an emotionally available partner. Being there on the tell-all, though, was no picnic with everyone. Meri Brown, in specific, seemed particularly agitated. In the latest sneak peek, she outright asked why Christine was talking about her history with Cody so freely, particularly in front of her new husband. Meri didn't beat around the bush, and viewers were quick to take sides. Some concurred, believing that Meri had a right to say that. Others came to Christine and David's defense, claiming that David is the sort of guy who will sit patiently and courteously speak out when he's heard enough of Cody. One of her fans chimed in, saying, Where's your boyfriend, Meri? Implying the tension with a touch of sarcasm. Another observed that Christine is merely doing what the TV show pays her to do. Discuss her past. She's discussing with her husband about her ex because she's doing a TV show that pays her to, the comment said. Otherwise, I don't think she'd even think about Cody. Behind the cameras and beyond the on-screen drama, there is an even more intriguing tale. When tell-all host Suki Krishnan went on Sarah Fraser's podcast, she offered listeners a candid and intimate peek into the Brown family's private lives. With years of one-on-one encounters behind the scenes, Suki painted a much more nuanced and emotionally rich family than audiences normally get to see on television. What she depicted was a family disintegrating gradually, struggling with the emotional repercussions of decisions once taken in the name of love, religion, and loyalty. Throughout season 19, it became evident that warm nostalgia of togetherness has been overtaken by chilly detachment and wounded pride. Cody's return to Sedona with Robyn was a symbolic reminder of what used to be, a family together on the same couch, talking in the same voice. Those group tell-alls were once full of laughter, in-jokes, and a united defense of their way of life. Those days are now long gone. What is left is a battlefield, everyone on their own team, defending their truth. Robyn, the sole wife still with Cody, did not mask her feelings. She confessed that being part of the tell-all makes her nervous, not thrilled. To her, she claimed, she'd prefer to go through physical pain than go through the emotional pain that these interviews cause. Her frankness was brutal and profoundly revealing. This is no longer TV drama. This is serious, this is painful, and this is very real. Suki explained that she did attempt to get everyone together for a final group discussion. She spoke with each of them individually, with Cody, Robyn, Janelle, Meri, and Christine. But even with encouragement, each of them said no. Not in anger, but because they're just not ready. The wounds are too raw, the distance too great. Interestingly, Suki reported there's only one former wife who could possibly be in a position to confront the others. That's Christine. She's emotionally liberated with a new life full of love and stability. She's no longer bound by the past, and that emotional resilience makes her stand out. Suki determined that making them reunite now would be for nothing. The common ground that bound them together is lost. The family that once sat shoulder to shoulder, standing up for each other, now stands worlds apart, each their own healing, each their own truths, each their own idea of what's next. Those carefree days of laughter and protection for one another are a distant memory now. What used to be a sense of support has gradually devolved into confrontation, blame, and the reopening of wounds that never had time to heal. During her recent podcast interview, Sister Wives Tell-All's host made one thing certain. The goal of such interviews isn't to incite, it's to clarify. Healing, she insisted, can only occur when honesty in communication is accompanied by intimacy. One of the most difficult revelations was how tenuous the relationship was between the patriarch and his older kids. Years on, fans have observed the emotional distance growing wider, particularly between Cody and the children from his previous marriages. The public has frequently read his actions as abandonment, a man shutting himself off when his kids needed him the most. One daughter even confessed that her relationship with her father hasn't been the same since a heartbreaking tragedy shook the family to its core. But the interviewer offered a view that few had taken. In her opinion, Cody isn't trying to hide. He's trying to return, awkwardly and quietly. She said he's trying to reconnect, to meet his children on their emotional turf. No longer viewing them as kids, he's attempting to respect their independence, their loss, and their right to hurt. It's a delicate journey, and while some children have built walls to protect themselves, others still leave a door open, still hoping for understanding, still willing to offer a flicker of warmth. This year, more than ever before, illustrates just how fractured the Brown family is. Once tied together by common beliefs and communal living, each member of the family now lives to their own beat. The women, who were formerly united in one shared vision, are now maturing into their own separate ways. They've gotten new jobs, started businesses, and discovered their own individuality. They're no longer former wives. They're survivors, dreamers, and entrepreneurs discovering strength in reclaiming their voice. Curiously, the wife who stays with Cody appears trapped in a complicated emotional place. To everyone outside of that world, her ongoing loyalty is more a condition of isolation. Her love for Cody is questioned, even pitied. But in that love, she's discovered her own sense of purpose and conviction, no matter how solitary it feels. Off camera, emotional reality is still more complicated. The tell-all host painted a very different image in the dark. Intensive pondering takes the place of choreographed drama. Cody, specifically, finds himself lost in thought, sometimes regretful, sometimes struggling to grasp how things fell apart. Even the former wives are mending in their own manners. One turned to spiritual development. Another invested herself fully in creating a business. And Christine, naturally, is finding love anew. The children are also on their own paths. Some have moved in the direction of distance, making space from the chaos. Others are still struggling with who they are, still finding their identity in the wake of having grown up as part of a one-time unified but now fractured public family. As season 19 finds its dramatic climax, the tell-all is poised to be the most revealing episode yet. Every single interview strips away another layer, from pain and isolation to self-discovery and transformation. It's not what happened. It's how each person is coping with the emotional fallout. In conclusion, the tell-all host recognized something. The era of reliving this narrative as one huge, homogeneous family might be ending. But that doesn't necessarily mean the story is concluding. It's actually in the individual journeys, the individual voices, that true change is occurring. And that's where the soul of Sister Wives truly resides. Bound together for decades by duty, religion, and tradition, the Brown family used to run like a well-oiled machine. But today, every member of the family speaks from a position of self-determination, sometimes strong, sometimes hurt. And as the tell-all saga keeps focusing on this family's life coming apart at the seams, one thing is quite obviously certain. This is no longer a tale of oneness, but one of fragmentation. In these latest episodes, the emotional stakes rise dramatically. What we're witnessing now isn't just the echo of past heartbreaks. It's the revelation of fresh, raw truths. Long-simmering conflicts, guarded confessions, and piercing realizations are laid bare. And with every new segment, the illusion of a cohesive family fades, replaced by individual narratives that don't always line up. Janelle's portion of this third installment of the tell-all is perhaps the most sorrowful yet. Seated under the studio lights, her face set, her eyes brimmed with sadness and determination. She spoke candidly about the slow breakdown of the dream that had initially seen her adopt plural marriage. Her words hit hard. It wasn't one person's fault, she said. Two people are required to either create something wonderful or ruin it. Although she accepted that Robyn has become a lightning rod for so much of the family's conflict, Janelle insisted that Cody isn't innocent. Indeed, his actions have altered so much that it's almost as if on purpose, like he's decided to be the bad guy so he can defend Robyn from persecution. That epiphany, that Cody would possibly wish to be the fall guy, came crashing down like a body punch. Not only on Janelle, but on all viewers who've been witnessing this saga for more than a decade. Just when viewers believed the emotional burden couldn't possibly become any greater, a fresh clip of the next episode was released, and it landed like an earthquake. In his one-on-one with the tell-all host, Cody became frigid, nigh on clinical. He steered the topics to things the family hardly ever discusses in public: intimacy, power, and money. This isn't about love anymore, he told the host. It's about control. Control over affection. Control over finances. Then the punch. Cody accused Janelle of having too much control over her own money, saying that her independence had become a threat. He even confessed to holding back information about the family's struggling property at Coyote Pass because he didn't trust her judgment. The betrayal in the moment was real. For years, Janelle had been the family's financial pillar, working diligently for their common aspirations. Now, her hard work was being framed as distrust. The audience was shocked. How had the woman who kept everything together ended up being the one he no longer trusted? And the hurt didn't end there. Christine, now enjoying a new life with her partner David, observed Cody's accusations with stunned silence. Intimacy was never the measure of connection in our marriage. She spoke softly, closing her eyes in incredulity. To raise that now, after all of this, feels like it's dishonest. Her words cut deep. At her side, David remained silent, but later in a different clip, he provided a poignant observation. All Christine ever needed was respect, emotional consistency, and someone who saw her for who she really is. That sort of connection she never experienced with Cody. Elsewhere on the tell-all, emotions came to a boil. Meri, who has generally kept emotions locked away, could no longer contain them. Her annoyance at Christine bringing David to the tell-all and speaking about her previous marriage in his presence created tension. "Why is he even here?" Meri asked, disappointment in her tone. Some viewers sympathized with her, wondering about the prudence of David's attendance. Others came to Christine's defense, noting that her narrative was still unfolding, and David had become a part of it. Online, the fans argued, is Christine milking her past for TV, or just healing in public because that is what the show requires? Is Meri speaking from jealousy, or from a place of righted hurt? The answers aren't simple, and perhaps that's the idea. Behind the scenes, tell-all host provided a glimpse into what doesn't get filmed. Years of intimate conversations have privy her with information few others possess. She described how Cody tends to reflect deeply afterward, sometimes in regret, sometimes in obstinate confusion, not knowing how things all fell apart. She also highlighted how each of the women has gone her own way toward healing, some through business, others through spirituality, and one by finding love again. Even the kids, now emerging into adulthood, are finding their way in the aftermath of a broken family history. Some keep others at arm's length, others still leave room for connection, and each of them, in their own way, is reauthoring the tale of who they are. As season 19 hurtles toward its emotional conclusion, the tell-all isn't merely serving up drama. It's showing us truth. Truth about love, loss, betrayal, strength, and what occurs when a family previously founded on common values is compelled to face what is left once those values no longer bind them together. Because perhaps, the greatest stories are not spoken as one, but in the bravery it takes to finally speak alone. As she wept through this dramatic reunion, Meri, usually portrayed as stern and introspective in silence, had her breaking point at last. Rather than unleashing her anger at Cody, however, she reserved it for Christine, and more specifically, for the company of Christine's new boyfriend. "Why are we even doing this?" Meri said, her voice shaking, not with fear exactly, but with barely contained irritation. "If your boyfriend is just going to sit through the whole thing?" Her words dangled in the air like a gauntlet. "Why is it all right to bring him here just to discuss your ex-husband?" The response was instantaneous. Viewers took to social media, with opinion divided down the middle. Some believe Meri had a point, whether it's reasonable to reopen past scars with a new partner only feet away. Others were very much defending Christine, citing emotional support, particularly in such exposed environments, is not just understandable, but essential. One viewer wrote, "Her new man seems like the kind of guy who'd gently tell her when she's said enough about the past. He's calm, he's supportive. Where's Meri's support system?" Another added, "I get why Meri's upset. It must be hard to sit alone while someone else gets walked through their pain hand in hand." And still, another observer provided a blunt reality check. "Let's be honest, Christine's getting paid to look back at her past. This isn't dinner talk, it's her work." That leads to a fascinating question. When is personal truth performance? The boundaries between reality and showmanship have never been more obscure. Every wife, every ex-husband, and even the new girlfriends are all operating in a complex web of recollection, psychological trauma, and collective judgment. These are not simply reality TV personalities. They are actual individuals living their inner lives under the harsh glare of an intensely engaged audience. Janelle's fight with Cody wasn't about a single accusation. It was about a deeper betrayal, a falling away of trust, of common vision, of respect. For years, she was the strength that kept the family together, the selflessness that made it work. And now she's accused of being too independent to trust. And still, She doesn't fall apart. She confronts it. She claims her truth. Christine's journey shows us what healing can look like, even when it's messy. Her decision to bring her new partner isn't about drama. It's a statement, a declaration that she has moved from emotional deprivation to emotional fulfillment. And Meri's frustration? It reminds us that even the quietest voices can carry the deepest ache. At the center of this season's tell-all is a question not so simply answered. How do you tell your truth when the whole world is watching? And when the act of telling it gets folded into the show? As the Brown clan continues to fray, one thing does not change. Their stories still matter. Because beneath the headlines, beneath the cuts, and beneath the silence, these are the very real struggles of women who dared to reimagine love, family, and freedom on their own terms. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more daily news. This ride is far from over, and we'll be here to break down every moment with you. See you soon.